All right. So we have another awesome On the Couch interview, and this is truly one of my favorite people in the world. About a year, I think it was about a year ago. Okay, everyone, shh. Let's get in our seats. Shh. It's okay, I need to catch my breath. All right. So our next guest is one of the most well-spoken people I've met in a long time when it comes to someone who can teach others. He's got a great big heart, an incredibly giving spirit, and an incredible Amazon business owner. And it's a real privilege of mine to call him on stage as a friend, but also as someone who I admire very much as a very hard worker and giving person, Mr. Mike McClary.
Thank you.
So one thing about Mike, though, he's a bit of a diva. So if we could, I'd like to have an email come up on here, please. So, as you can see, it says, I think we have a slight problem. First of all, as you know, Sir Richard Branson's coming tomorrow. He had no requests, not one. But Mike McClary, on the other hand, so I think we have a slight problem. There's no mention of my top floor, 3,200 square foot suite in the name of Despicable Me. That one we can't. But what we can do with all this is, first of all, there's your stormtrooper outfit. But hang on, you did say, what does this say right here? My life-size stormtrooper outfit for me to use when lounging around the pool. That is you promise?
Yeah, I promise.
All right, cool. Also, we got you Jeeves. And your blue Skittles. Are you satisfied? Can we continue?
We can continue.
There we go. I think you should have to put that on, but we'll do that later.
So, Mr. McClary, how's business?
It's going great. Let me swallow my blue Skittle first, though.
All right, good.
As I choke. No, it's going fantastic. It really is. We had our best month ever in December, and we did just under $300,000 in 1 month.
$300,000.
$300,000.
Awesome. And so, how long have you been doing this?
Since ASM1. So we took the course March of 2013, I guess we started. But our product, and first off, I worked with my brother also. He's not here. I love you, Phil. Wish you could have been here, but he's at home refreshing the screen. That's his job while I'm gone. So our first product didn't get live until the last day of the very first ASM event. So May 30th, I believe, was the day we went live. So it's really only been a year and a half. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. And what do you think by this point is, estimated, or maybe you know the exact number, who knows, your total revenue generated?
Total revenue would be well over $1.6 million.
$1.6 million. Awesome. So I know you have a very awesome story, because we've talked a lot. And so I want to sort of trace it back to before all this started. First off, how did you find out about ASM?
Well, I had a friend of mine who kind of stayed up on internet marketing. And I was not an internet marketer or selling products anywhere. I was just a regular corporate guy. I was a consultant for many years, and then I ended up as a corporate finance director for telecommunications, charter communications, as a matter of fact. But I always knew that I had an entrepreneurial spirit, and I wanted to do something for myself. And I remember right before the course launched, the very first one, I was thinking about, what am I going to do? How am I ever going to get my own business? And lo and behold, a friend of mine forwarded me an email about the amazing selling machine. And of course I read it, and it sounded completely ludicrous that people could actually go out there and make this kind of money doing this. But that didn't stop me from clicking on it and watching the first video. And as soon as I saw the first video, I was hooked right away. I knew it had so much potential. It made sense. I mean, find a product that people already want. Why hadn't I not thought of that before? It's amazing how simple the core concepts are.
Sure. So tracing back a little bit further, did you go to college? I'm not sure.
Yeah, sure did. U of I.
So what did you do after that?
I actually started off working for a paint company.
Paint company.
Benjamin Moore Paints.
Okay.
So I went down and lived in Birmingham, Alabama for 6 months. Moved up to Chicago, where I met my wife, and I actually worked for them for a couple years. And then I went into consulting. So I worked for Ernst & Young as a consultant for many years. After that, I did get a chance to go out and consult on my own. But it wasn't really a business. It was just me trading my hours for dollars. And so there was a definite ceiling what I could ever do.
So what made you want to go into consulting in the first place?
Well, I loved business. I really did. And I loved helping people.
Right.
So it was just a natural fit for me. You know, if you like business and you really like to help people grow their own businesses, it just worked out.
And so did you stay in the same consulting job and sort of moved up the corporate ladder, or how did all that work out?
I did move up. So I started out as a regular consultant with Ernst & Young, moved up to a manager, then I went out on my own, and then I got a great opportunity working with one of my clients who had been there for about 12 years, and worked for Charter. They offered me a really good job, and I was happy with it. You know, I had a great team. It was a good job. I miss my team to this date. I mean, one of the things I've been so fortunate with in my entire life, everywhere I went, I met amazing people and people that I care about deeply. And the same thing was true there at Charter. However, I wasn't satisfied, wasn't happy. It wasn't my own business.
And so how long was it between college and when you found ASM?
Oh, wow. So that must have been close to 20 years. You know,
Okay.
maybe, actually a little over 20 years. I graduated when I was 22, and I'm 46 right now, so about 24 years.
You said 26, right?
26, yeah.
So how long do you think you sort of had this sort of strong entrepreneurial desire before you actually took the leap? Like, how long do you think that had sort of been growing and festering?
It had been growing since probably a year or two after I got out of college.
Oh, wow.
I realized that the only people that are going to really move up in a company are those who make the money. You can't be on the support side, you can't be on the customer service side, you have to be generating revenue. So I think that kind of drove me towards looking towards all types of different entrepreneurial opportunities.
Sure.
But nothing ever came along that really struck me as something that I could do or would want to do.
And so around the time when you decided to make the leap into ASM, what did you feel about your job at the time?
I enjoyed it, but I felt trapped. You know, it was your typical corporate job. You know, not 9 to 5. I mean, that doesn't exist anymore. It's, 8 till 6, 8 till 6:30. Every day you had to go in. You had to be available for people to ask questions of you. I felt chained to the desk, chained to the job, always checking email. I mean, when we were talking the other day when Robert was talking about it, I'm one of those people who checks their email all the time back then. And I felt really like I was locked into a job that I couldn't see myself retiring with or ever being completely satisfied.
And then so you're feeling trapped, and then you find, ASM, and you sort of start thinking about taking the leap. Like, during the process, do you have any idea if you signed up at the very beginning of doors being open? Did you push it off till the last minute or somewhere in the middle?
It was near the end of it. So I wanted to watch every single video that you guys made. And I can tell you exactly what it felt like. After the first video, I was thinking, wow, they just told me the whole business. I don't need the course. I can go out there and do it all on my own. But I stuck around and watched the second video, and then I realized how much I didn't know after the first video. There's so much more.
Sure.
And then I watched the third video. The exact same thing happened. And even though I was feeling, wow, I could start this own business because these guys give me so much content, watching each video after the other made me realize there must be so much more to it also that they didn't really, couldn't share in those videos. So that's when I decided I needed to do this. It's something I really wanted to do. I could already visualize what my life would be like once I was selling, not if, but when I was selling. And the entire time, I was never thinking about what it's going to be like when I get there. I knew that it was going to be there. It was just a matter of time and effort.
When
And
you were
so-
saying
go for it.
when you were saying visualizing, what do you mean? Like, what were you visualizing?
I was visualizing getting up every morning and doing whatever I wanted, knowing that I was going to work, but because I'm working for me and no one else. That was one of the biggest selling points. And I really mean a lot about visualizing. I'm a big planner. I'm a big person into visualization and also to giving. And all those three things just kind of led me down this path into ASM. And ASM contains every one of those aspects right there. So it was the perfect match for me, and so many other people, I think so too.
And so you're married, right?
Yeah, sure.
You have how many kids?
2 kids.
2 kids, okay. And then so this time when you're thinking about you've got this nice job, you've been working at it for 20 years, your family's probably, think that that's likely what you're going to do forever. So in that time when you're like, well, I'm trying to do this internet thing, like how did that go over with your family?
Well, so when I first told my wife about the course, she was very supportive in the fact that she didn't say no at all. She was like, oh, you're going to do something on the internet? Sure, go do that thing. Go do that. And so I went ahead and I was like, okay, that's my, okay, I didn't tell her the price, but that's my approval. So I went ahead and signed up for the course. Then it had to be about 3 or 4 weeks later, we're into the course. And every week I was getting more and more excited. And when I get excited about something, I talk about it all the time. I think about it all the time. So I was telling my kids stories about the course, like, oh my gosh, you wouldn't believe how basic the concepts are, but how amazing they are to think through. I would open up with them and ask them for their own ideas about products, how we could sell them, what we could sell. And everyone could see how excited I was. And I could see this look on her eye like, huh? Is he really going to do this or something? And by the end of the course, when we finally had a product that was ready to sell, I went ahead and told my entire family, look at this, we just sold our first product. And I was so excited. And even though we didn't make more than $10 on one sale, to me, that was the most money in the world because I earned it for myself. Sure. And I was looking down the road, and I made a plan. By the end of 2013, I had to be in the situation or position where I could quit my job. So I told them that. I said, end of this year, I will be quitting my job. However, I got the little eye look, oh yeah, right, sure, go ahead and go do that. And so I kept going ahead and pushing forward.
Awesome. So you start building this business. Your family's semi-supportive. They're dealing with it. And then I imagine you're still working your job. 8 to 6 hours you said. And then so when are you building the business?
When am I what?
When are you building the business? Like when during the day?
It was during the evening. So there'd be times where I think everyone here who's really into the training knows this feeling. You think about this all the time. When I go to bed, I see pictures of spatulas and you guys in my head. And so I would get up early. Like there's so many times where I'd get up early and I'd want to start working on this. And then the worst feeling in the world was knowing an 8 o'clock came around, I had to switch over into this regular corporate job and do that for the rest of the day. Wow. But then as soon as, the whistle blew and I'm Fred Flintstone running out the door, then I went back to ASM in the evenings. And it did not feel like work. Now, it is work. And if anyone tells you that you can just, throw a product up and it's going to sell all by itself with no effort, that's not the case. But it's work that I love doing. So every evening I would go through the training, a couple hours. I would get on Skype. I would talk to my suppliers. And so really, I built everything in my free time. Nothing during the day, during my normal job.
And were you putting quite a bit of time in on the weekend as well?
Yeah, absolutely. So in the weekends, I would work a couple hours each day.
Sure.
And for that, my family was really supportive. They knew that it wasn't really work that I was doing. It's something that I was doing for myself.
I want to hit on one thing you just said. You spent time working on relationships with your suppliers. Expand on that a little bit, because I know a lot of times we, as business owners, especially new business owners, we look at our customer one way, but then we look at our suppliers and everything else a different way, and sometimes we're very disrespectful and nonchalant with them. So I remember talking about this, so maybe just explain your thoughts on that.
I think there's one lesson that I'd like to always share with people, and that is to treat everyone in your life, whether it's a customer, family member, friend, or a supplier, or your shipping company. Treat them amazing. And I mean, really go overboard to make them feel like you really appreciate everything they do for you. And I try to do that in every aspect of my life. And when I do that, I'm not faking it. I really do appreciate everyone for what they're doing for me. And so my suppliers the same way. One thing that I've never done, and everyone's different, some people really enjoy the negotiation with the supplier and trying to hammer them down on prices. I never did that. My supplier would come to me and he would say, Mike, what if we shave off 35 cents? Is that going to help you sell more? And their margin is so much smaller than our margins. We have so much more to play with that I would tell them, no, don't do that. Give me the best quality product and we'll sell more than you can possibly imagine. So I always treated them with a lot of respect, just like they were a partner in the business. And I'll tell you what, they are one of my biggest supporters right now. Anything I need, that 35 cents that I could be saving is worth so much less than their support and their friendship. My supplier came and stayed with me for a week last summer.
Yeah, they flew from China.
Yeah, flew from China. We took him to a Cardinals game. Yeah, it was amazing. So, and we did everything. You know, we took him out to dinner, met the family, went up in the Arch. He'd never been up in the Arch before, and he now calls me his other brother. And it's amazing to have that kind of support, because I know that his best interests and my best interests are aligned, and I always treat him that way.
That's not surprising, but your personality, people, yeah, you're a good man.
So you're moving along, and then you go through this course, then you make your first sale. How long was it from when you joined to when you made your first sale? Was that until May?
Yeah, so our product went live May 30th. Okay. Not that I remember that date or anything, but that's when actually, I remember Phil and I were in the airport in Austin, Texas, getting ready to get on the plane, and we got this little ping, your product is now live on Amazon. It was, talk about the perfect ending to the live event. We were, you know, head over heels happy about it. And I would say within 2 days, we made an organic sale without doing anything at all. We didn't even run Amazon ads back there. They were not really well known.
Right.
So we hadn't kicked those on yet. So it was literally, I'd say, day 2 after the live event ended, we made our first sale.
So after you made your first sale, then what did you do to start growing your business?
So we started doing one thing I'd always recommend everyone, when you launch a product, throw a little traffic at it. Not a lot. We did a little bit of pay-per-click. And again, when I say not a lot, I mean that. Like the time, maybe $10 a day.
Pay-per-click from where?
We did Google AdWords.
Okay.
So there's a really big benefit from throwing traffic at it. It can be Google, it can be Facebook, it can be Pinterest, it can be Amazon ads. But when you send traffic to Amazon, they reward you. They start advertising for you. I mean, everyone here who's ever looked at their products on Amazon has probably noticed you get an email a week later saying, hey, this product you were looking at is now on sale. That's basically a form of retargeting with email.
Right.
Amazon does that. They send emails out to any customer that's viewed a product. They retarget all over Facebook and other sites. So the only thing we're doing is throwing a little bit of traffic at it. And even though we didn't increase our ad spend much every day, our sales did increase every day. Just kind of that whole effect of sales build, you know, like Jason Fladlin said, the focused sales build the passive sales.
So you came from a corporate job, you start this business, you're going along, moving by yourself. This is the first business you've ever run, right?
Well, I tried one other business for it, and it failed. It wasn't a physical products business at all.
Was it online related?
It was online related.
Is that how you learned how to do the Google AdWords?
Yeah, that's how I learned how to do it.
Okay.
Yeah. But I mean, again, my Google AdWords skills are remedial at the best. You know, I just know how to go out there, throw a link up there, and follow the training. I read the actual AdWords training and learned how to do it.
Oh, okay. So you throw a little traffic at your new product. You said you got an organic sale, and then what happened?
Then we realized this was real. You know, that the more traffic we put towards Amazon, the more sales it would give to us. So it was kind of a cyclical effect where you just kind of give them some traffic, they reward you. We haven't, even to this date, done a lot of other promotions. We get Amazon ads, which everyone should run them. They're just kind of a no-brainer. We still sometimes do a little bit of Google when we're launching a product. And then we followed the course. We did press releases, we did alliance jobs, we did videos. We didn't go overboard though. I mean, we did what the course taught us to do, and every one of those has led to our product growing and growing and growing in sales. But there's no secret to it. It's just following the course, give a little bit of traffic, and it'll slowly grow on its own.
So do you think with your listings, for as far as optimizing your images, title, description, do you think you did anything different than most people that you see out there?
No, I don't think so at all. I mean, we've pretty much followed the formula. We made sure that our images looked really, really great. That's probably the most important thing on your entire listing. I'll tell you one thing about our title, though, that we are a little different about. And the title's like anything else in this business. There is no one right way to do it. Like some of the people say that if someone's doing it one way, do it the other way. I've always been a big proponent. I want to grow my brand. I want to be a big company, or at least be perceived like a big company. So I wrote our titles to look like that. So it would be our product by our brand name. And I didn't go with 37 lines of text.
Sure.
I wanted to look like, wow, this is a real product by a real company that I want to buy. That was kind of my test.
And then so how did your sales start progressing at that point? Once you start getting going, you've got your listings sort of optimized, and you're driving a little traffic, Amazon sponsored ads, that sort of thing. Like, how did that all start growing?
So it was a very gradual, slow growth. Nothing extraordinary. It wasn't like we woke up one day and had 50 sales. So we started again end of May. Sales started off a couple each day, then maybe up to 5 a day. By the time we got to July, though, so we went through June. That was pretty much month of June. Got July, things just took off. That's when we really started noticing that the sales were taking off, but we weren't doing anything extra. We were just providing really good customer service, reaching out to our customers as often as we could when we had the opportunity to do so, and it kind of took care of itself. We didn't even go out there and really pursue reviews. To this date, I have not, and my brother have not done any particular effort to go out there and get a whole bunch of reviews. We just let them come naturally, other than, hey, if we got a happy customer leaving us good seller feedback, we're going to reach out to them and talk to them on the phone, and that works out really well.
And so was that the only time you were really reaching out to customers?
Yeah. The only time we've ever reached out to customers is if they've had a problem. The first thing we do is we want to get on the phone with them. So usually you'll see that in seller feedback, and you have the exact phone number. It's right in their order number, or you can try to tie it onto a review. We want to contact those people right away, and you would be surprised. I mean, you wouldn't be, but some people might be surprised. The customers love getting a phone call from you. They can't believe it. And they don't know that you're some guy sitting in his basement office, you know, kind of building a business. They know you as the owner of a company, which everyone here is. And they're thrilled to get a phone call from you. To this date, I have not spoken to a customer who had an issue that wasn't thrilled by the time I got off the phone with them. It's so
awesome.
easy to do. You just treat them like they're family and friends, and they reward you that way.
And then so after June, you're into July. Like, what do you think your sales volume was there for that month?
Sure, I believe we got up to about 10,000 a month
10,000.
by around August.
Okay.
So things were kicking into gear around
And you
then.
still did one product.
So we had 2 products by then.
Okay.
And the sales were coming at about 70% off one, 30% off the other.
And so what made you decide to add another product?
Well, there's 2 of us, so you know it kind of seemed like it was a natural thing to do. Let's go ahead and try 2. We have 2 people. But there's another reason too. We sourced one domestically, one internationally. We're very impatient. Even though we like taking our time getting things right, we wanted to get something up as quickly as possible. So we found a really nice domestic product that we could get up there and sell while we're also sourcing international product.
And so they different brand, I assume?
Completely different. They're not
Different
even
brand,
close
different
related.
market.
Yeah, you would never think about selling them together, but now, after seeing some of the presentations, I'm thinking about selling them together somehow.
And then then you've got these 2 products. One's doing 70, one doing 30% of your sales. And then sort of how do you keep expanding from there?
So what we do is pretty much continue to provide great customer service. That's the number one thing that's grown our company without a doubt. Reaching out to people and talking to them.
You know, one of the things I want to ask, because I know we keep saying that customer service, but like, why? Why do you think that's happening, and how are you doing it?
Well, contact them any way we can. So engaging the customer, getting a conversation going with them. If we can get on the phone with them, I love talking to people. I think pretty much anyone who's talked to me knows that. So we can get on the phone with them and talk to them. They really share, they share your product, and even more importantly, they share your company with everyone else. They love hearing that. So our best supporters are now our customers, you know, the happy customers. So we do that via commenting on reviews. Every time someone leaves us a good or positive review, I'm out there just, typing away saying thank you. I mean, if it's a bad review, I still thank them because I want them to know I appreciate them taking that 5 minutes out of the time to leave it. And that really shows people that are considering your product that you care. You're a real company and a real person behind it. I think to the date that there's no other secret. I mean, there's a lot of different things you can do to grow your business, but providing exceptional customer experience and engagement helps you and just builds off itself.
So how did you decide to get in the markets that you ended up getting into?
They met the criteria. That's all there was to it. I was not passionate about either one of these.
Sure.
As a matter of fact, they were probably the last things on earth that I would buy. But what's funny about it is after you start selling a product and building a brand, you kind of fall in love with it. And so now I absolutely love our products.
Is it fair to say, though, you don't need to be passionate as long as you believe in your product?
Absolutely. Yeah, we weren't passionate at first. But one thing, we believed in the products and we believed in ourselves. We knew that this was going to work, and there was no way that it wasn't going to work. And so that kind of flowed through our entire business and has helped us move along.
So you're in 2013. Like, how do you start expanding these 2 different brands? Or do you add more brands? Do you add more products within those brands? Do you start trying to build a brand, social media, any of that sort of stuff, list? How did that all work?
We did not grow very much those years as far as brands go. Our sales grew, but I looked at what's the return on the investment at that point in time.
Sure.
So can I focus spending our money more on these 2 products, really that's what we had, or spreading it out over and going wide and getting more products? And it just said, you know what, sales are picking up, we're already running out of inventory. That's the easiest, the path of least resistance. So we threw money into those 2 products. So by the end of 2013, we really only had all of our revenue coming from 2 products still.
Wow. And then so by the end of 2013, because you joined in March, or April, I guess, or I can't remember. March or April, either way, you get the point. So then by May, you sell your first product. July, you start ramping up. By the end of 2013, where were you at in sales?
We were about 25,000. See, I hit 25K in fall of 2013. We're close to 40,000 by the end of 2013.
$40,000.
$40,000,
about
right.
7-8 months, something like that.
Absolutely, yeah.
Awesome. And then so you get into 2014, just last year. At that point, like, did anything change in your business about how you were doing things or what you were focusing on?
We did add another product, so we finally got up to 3 products then when it came around January 2014. And so we were able to pretty easily cross-promote those products. They fit into the right niche. And so we just kept pushing those. Again, when we launched it, throw a little Google AdWords at it. We monitor our Amazon ads, make sure those are working pretty well. Other than that, we didn't do anything other than continuing to engage the customer.
Awesome. And then sometime around then, I don't remember when, but at some point you quit your job.
Yeah, so
When
it was
was that?
spring. So I knew that when we hit 50,000, I had a clear plan with a clear target. I knew exactly what we needed to hit in order for me to quit my job. It was 50,000. In spring, I was able to quit my job. And I actually had given my employer, notice before then. I said, you know what, this is going to happen. Again, I cared about my team a lot. I wanted them to prepare for it. I was training my own replacement at that point in time. So it was early spring of 2014. I quit my job.
So just last year, about a year
Just
ago.
last year. Yeah, over a year ago.
So did any of your coworkers or team members, like when you were telling them about this, like what did they have to say about that?
At first, they couldn't believe it. They couldn't quite conceptualize that someone could build an entire business. And I had, again, a really good job. It was a great job. I was, an executive with a large telecom company, and they were blown away that I would actually be able to replace that income with a few products at that time. 3 products online. And they always think, it's an online business, it's an online business, but I had to keep telling them, this isn't an online business. That happens to be the launching platform for it, but we're building a brand and a set of products and a company, and that's just that's the first where we're gonna go. And so I told them about this, and once I would show them the products, I would actually send them, here's our product on here, and take a look at it. They were blown away that we could actually go out there and create a product that looked as good, if not better, than some of the bigger names that were out there.
And then so what did your family have to say when you're like, okay, I'm cutting the cord, I'm quitting the job?
Freaked out is the good way to call it. That when I actually said that, hey, guess what? Remember I said when I hit this target, I'm going to quit? Well, I hit it. And then, of course, my wife and kids were all talking about, what, you're really going to quit your job? What are you going to do every day? And they think you're retiring, but you're not. No, that's not what you're doing. You're just kind of switching gears. They were really nervous, but they were supportive. And what I continue to do is bring them into it. There are so many dinner conversations about the business. We talk about our products. We talk about what kind of goofy Facebook ad we could put out there. They come up with some really interesting ideas. So by continually bringing them into it, they weren't as freaked out as they could have been. I think they knew all along that I was loving the business. They knew it was growing. I just don't think they knew exactly how successful it was, because I wasn't telling them, hey, we hit 25,000 this month, we hit 40,000 this month. I didn't want to do that. I just wanted to get to that point and then show them the figures, say, I did it, and it's only going to get better from here.
Yeah. So you made a point of right away involving them in the business. Did they give you many good ideas, or did you do it more just as a loving gesture, like to get them involved?
They gave me a lot of good ideas. One thing I found is I learned something from everyone that I talked to. And it can be my 11-year-old daughter, my 13-year-old son, my wife. I'm not going to mention her age. Huh?
Rich Henderson?
Rich is just, my partner on the side, I guess. No, my wife calls Rich the other woman, so yeah. He gets more time with me on Skype than we probably do talking about any other thing. So yeah, I did engage them early on. I always talked about how excited I was, how much I love this business. One of the questions they had asked me is, what's the end game here? Like, what do you want to do with this job? Is it just going to be another job to replace this one? I'm like, no, it's not going to be a job. I'm building a business that I love working at. I love running. So every day, even if I put in a long day sometimes, and in this business, there'll be some long days because you just have to communicate with suppliers late at night, or you want to get up and focus on something. But they know that I love it. I never complain about work anymore. I just don't do it because I love what I'm doing so much.
Very cool. Congratulations.
Yeah, absolutely. So in early spring, you hit this $50,000 mark sometime in there, you quit your job, you're now out on your own doing this business full time. Then at that point, you keep growing, because to go from 50,000 to where you're at now, I mean, that's massive.
Right.
What do you think you did, or what do you think contributed to that over the course of really 2014?
Well, two stories. Let me share one first. So I hit 50,000 last spring. And then at that point in time, I'd been, just a regular member, and then I was a mentor. And then I actually got the opportunity, it wasn't a job or anything, but the opportunity to work with you guys and help train people during ASM3. So I was at 50,000 at that point in time. As soon as ASM3 launched, and I can say this now because they're both fine, my brother goes in and needs open heart surgery. He's my business partner, does half the work. My father has a heart attack. And then I'm busy running the business and I'm working with you guys. So thank God everyone here was, you guys, the mentors, everyone else was so incredibly supportive, knowing that I'm busy, I'm trying to help with the course, and I'm also trying to run my business and take care of my father who needed 24-hour care at that point in time. They both got better, but my brother wasn't able to help very much. He needed to recuperate. He's doing great now, which is awesome. But it was pretty much me on my own running the business and helping to do the course. I'd made a commitment. I love helping people, and there's no way I was going to give up on that. So did the course for 8 weeks. Then, the 3 weeks later, I think we had our live event. And so I got up here, and I remember talking as one part of the panel up here. I had not worked on the business very much in that time. I was in maintenance mode, just making sure if customers had issue, I took care of them. We did a little bit of advertising, no new promotions, no new product launches. From when the time the course started until we went to live event, my business had grown from 50,000 to over 70,000 just by working for Jason. So that's kind of a weird thing to do.
That's right.
But the reason it did that, and the reason I get to the point here, was I built up the foundation for a business. We had great products, great images, great product descriptions. We provided great service. And even though there's not a lot I could do as far as promotion goes, all those things perpetuate your business growing. And so just by having the foundation of a business built, it will grow itself if you get that foundation built.
And then so by the end of 2014, where were you at with your business?
So end of 2014?
Yep, so not long ago.
So that would have been just in December.
Yeah.
That we had done over $1 million last year, wow. And we're up to $275,000, just under $300,000 in December.
That's amazing.
So yeah.
And then
That's incredible.
So throughout all this, like, have you brought on staff? How does that work?
We're terrible about that. So if there's one thing that we need to do is we have to start outsourcing. That's on our target for early this year. By the end of the first quarter this year, we're going to have someone helping do customer service, press releases. But it was just the two of us. It really was, and so we haven't had any kind of staff at all yet. We need to get staff, though.
Still up until right now, it's just you two?
Absolutely. It's just the two of us, right?
Wow. So throughout all this, what do you think is the toughest lesson you've had to learn about this business?
Oh, wow. The toughest lesson is that when you come across the challenge, don't get worried, don't get frustrated, embrace it, because as soon as you overcome that, you are so much better off than you were before you had that challenge. I think, Jason, you mentioned this morning that that's one of the things I had talked about before. I love when a problem comes up. I really do. It's not that anyone wants to see something happen bad to their business, but when a challenge comes up, I look at it as a hurdle that I need to get over. And once I get over that hurdle, I'm ahead of where all the other people are that are still behind that hurdle. The very first product we had was in a restricted category. And so I knew that once we went through those different steps to get through it, I had just beaten or gotten through something that so many people were going to have trouble getting through. So it was a challenge, but it put me so far ahead of everyone else at that point in time. So there's no such thing as a challenge that you can't get through or that won't end up being a very positive for you.
So other than the category issue with your first product, what do you think has been the biggest problem or challenge you've had in your business?
Oh, that's been time. Without a doubt, it's managing your time. I'm trying to get much better at it. There are days now where I have to turn off Facebook, turn off Skype. You just have to focus on what you want. The talk earlier about focusing on what you have to do, the things that you want to do, and the things that are kind of out there, that really resonated with me. Absolutely, making sure that you focus on what you need to do to grow your business, not just those little steps. Everyone wants to go in and check your sales and check your emails, but God, that hit me, hit so strongly with me, because you really need to go out there and focus on what's going to grow your business. And until you do that, don't do anything else. And it's been a challenge, but I'm going to overcome that one too.
So now that you have this extremely successful business, what does your family think about that now?
Oh, they're happy as can be. They're amazed that it's grown, and what they want to know is what's next.
Sure.
You know, they look at it, are you just going to keep this business and maintain it? Are you going to grow it some more? Are you going to try to go and sell it into stores, go retail? And they're very excited about it. And I tell them, you know, I don't know, the sky's the limit. I think that even though we've hit that mark, you know, just under 300 for 1 month, that's probably about 15–20% of where we can get. It's going to take time, but you know, time in a normal business would be like 5 to 10 years. Time in this business, I should be there within a year or two. And I know that I've gotten there already in a short amount of time. There's no reason I can't do it. And they do believe in me now, and I know that they feel like it's going to grow. If I say it's going to grow, I'm going to hit a target that I set for myself.
So how has this actually changed your life, I wonder? Because it's not like you were poor before. You had a great corporate job. You had money. So, I mean, now you obviously have more money, but that doesn't seem to be what's changed. Like, how has your life changed now?
You know, I'm a lot more relaxed. I'm just a lot happier. You know, having a great job and bringing in, you know, a decent amount of money, it's awesome, it's fantastic. But the biggest change that I notice is I'm not stressed anymore. You know, when I get up in the morning, even though I'm choosing to go and start work, it's my own job. And if I want to cut out and go pick up my kids from school at 3 o'clock, or go watch a volleyball game, or go to a Boy Scout meeting, I can do all those things now. Before, I could do them, but when I did them, I was stressed out. I knew that there was another job waiting for me when I got back. I knew the next morning I had to get up and do the grind. Now, if I want to cut out for a day, if I want to take a week off, or if I want to come here to the ASM event, I can do that. That's not something I could have done before.
Very cool.
And then, so I mean, we've got a lot of people in here. You've been here for the past couple of days, so you know it's a lot of people that have just joined an ASM4. So being where they're at versus where you are, you know, a year and a half into it, this very successful business, a lot of them sort of maybe in similar shoes to you. What's your advice to them as far as how to get through this and get to where you are, or maybe beyond, or maybe not quite as much, but somewhere more successful?
First off, figure out where it is you want to be. Some people have different targets and goals. Some people want to make as much money as possible. Some people want to be able to travel. Some people just have a small, what, you know, may seem like a small goal, but they want to make enough just to be happy and live their life. First, figure out what it is you want. I mean, everyone that I've met in my life before this even, it seems like people aren't happy, but usually because they don't know what they want out of life. So figure out where you want to be, and that's the biggest hurdle. Once you figure that out, make a plan to come up with it. You know, once you make a plan, execute it. It's not much harder than that right there. Just figure it out, plan it, execute it, and make sure that you give great customer service and treat everyone in your life as just like you want to be treated.
Sure.
So with your product, because one thing we didn't hit on, when you were picking your product, you know, you said you didn't do a lot of promotion, so you obviously had a really solid product. When you picked your product, though, like what criteria did you use? You said you just followed the training, but obviously you had to have done more than that. Like, is there... You know.
There wasn't a lot more that I did.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we followed it. We picked we followed the criteria, and I did make sure that it's something that I would buy. Like I said, there weren't products that I was totally into at that point in time, but if I saw the product, is it something that I would buy? That was probably the only other criteria that I had. It was as simple as that. There's no magic formula to picking a product.
Why do you think we overcomplicate it like that? Like what, you know, because when your first product took off, it was somewhat of a success. What would have happened if it didn't take off?
I would have tried another product. I wouldn't have given up, that's for sure. Absolutely. I mean, I knew in my heart that this business, not a program, this business works. I'd seen it work for so many people. I met people. When you come to an event like this, you can't help but be inspired by everyone out here. So I knew this is exactly what I wanted. There's no way I would let one product, one failure, any glitch, any hurdle get in my way of continuing and just kind of busting forward with it.
Very cool.
So for people, because you know we sent out a survey before the event, so a lot of people are sort of in the phase where they've got inventory because of holidays may have slowed them down a little bit. They've got inventory on the way, or they're negotiating with suppliers. They're gonna have their product live. They're in the sort of getting ready phase. So for those people, what do you think they should be focusing on right now?
Oh, that's a great question. I've actually talked to a couple people who are like that, and they have their product ready, and they think that they're in this waiting game. And there's no such thing as a waiting game in this business. There are always things you can be doing. You can be working on press releases. You can be working on alliance jobs. You can be working on videos. You can be going out there and planning out your ads. If you're gonna run Facebook ads or Google ads, get those ready right now. There's no reason to wait. I would just really focus on what can I do to make sure when that product goes live that I just turn all these different switches on and everything possible to help that product sell is in place and ready to go.
And so if you were to give them a list of 3 things, like what do you think those would be?
Oh, wow. First off, get your emails ready to go. Those are so important that when your customer has a product shipped to them, receives them, that you have a very good, concise message. Help them out. Come up with an FAQ that tells you the most common questions they're going to ask about it. Write those out. Send them to people, give them to friends, to make it checked out to make sure that they make sense and that's something that really helps out with it. Get those emails ready, because a lot of people wait until the last minute. Secondly, I would tell them to go out there and even start thinking about what kind of outside traffic you can get. There's 100 different sources of outside traffic. Google AdWords is an easy one to start with. Facebook ads is another one. You can go out there and create those right now. I would get, you know, get your emails ready, get a little bit of external traffic ready to go so you can just flip the switch, and it'll make a world of a difference when you go live.
Okay. And then so for people that have just gotten their inventory live, they've just got their product live, what do you think they should be focusing on?
Well, pretty much the same thing.
Same thing.
Make sure that your email's ready and get some external traffic. Then I would also try to get some sales. I mean, one thing that really helps in this business that Amazon rewards you for is the more you sell, the more they sell your product for you. So I would focus on trying to give your product away or sell your product to friends and family. Anything you can do to get sales. There's nothing that Amazon rewards more than sales.
And then so for the other group of people that they may already be up and running, they're up and selling, because we have a lot of people here that are from ASM 1, 2, 3, even ASM 4, they're just cranked along and are flying. For those people, say they're at, you know, 5 grand a month, 10 grand a month, 20 grand a month, what do you think it takes to get from there to where you are?
Well, if you're already at that point, making 5, 10, 20 grand a month, I would think about going wide, launching a couple other products. I know that it's really hard to do that until you have the funds coming in, but once you're at that level, you should be able to take some of that money. What we did, I mean, we were on a 25, 25, 25, 25, program I called it, where every month when we calculated what we spent and what our profit was, one of us would take 25%, my partner would take 25%, and then we'd spend 25% on a new product, and 25% we'd set aside for a rainy day. When you do that, after a few months, you'll realize you have money in the bank. It should only take a few months. Then you go out there and get another product going, and it doesn't hurt so bad. You're not reaching into your pockets. You have that money set aside. I would tell those people to set aside a little bit of that money and invest in another product. Even if it's not a hot-selling product, just having something else to support your brand, those products, there's a lot of synergy between the two. You'll sell both of them more.
Sure. So there's one way of investing in additional products. Do you think if they have, you know, a little bit of cash coming in from the business, like how would you reinvest it to grow an existing product?
Well, I mean, for one, look at your packaging. Look and see if you can spend a little more money and get some higher quality packaging, because the packaging is so important to your customer. If you're not getting a lot of good reviews, you're not getting a lot of sales, packaging is one of the areas that I would look at. I would also look into some kind of outside source of traffic, and I would look into something that's usually free. Meet other people that are here and find out what they're doing. Find people that are at your level, find out what they're doing, share what you're doing with them. Chances are you're not doing the exact same things. You can each pick up something from each other.
Okay, cool. So yeah, that leads into something. So at this live event, you know, we're about a day and a half into it, got about a day and a half left. What do you think people here should do to get the most value out of the next day and a half that they have, and after that as well?
Number one is take advantage of everyone in this room. I would network and network and network. And maybe not take advantage of everyone in the room. That's not a really good way to say it, I guess. But no, take advantage of relationships. I mean, so much of this business is all about relationships. I mean, I have been so blessed and so fortunate with the mentors and Rich and you guys and every member that I talk to. I gain something from everyone that I meet. So even if it's not a specific strategy for your titles, your bullet points, or your search terms, the biggest asset in this room is everyone sitting in a chair. I would get out there and meet as many people, talk to them, make relationships. You may not need them now, they may not need you now, but at some point, if they recognize you and remember you, you can reach out to that person and you'll share with what's been working, and it has helped my business grow more than anything. Going to Aruba with you guys, I learned so much, but I also just got so much confidence out of that. By hanging out with people that I aspire to be like, it makes you grow and want to be that way, and it just kind of flows over into every aspect of your life.
Awesome. So what do you think is the biggest mistake people just starting out make when they're building this business?
I'd say it's apathy. Expecting to just get a product, throw it up there, do the bare minimum, and expect it to sell.
Right.
Now, there are some people that happens for.
Sure.
I hate them. But it doesn't happen all the time. You know, if you want to make this a business, you need to treat it like a business. And so what I've done is we've went out there and we're trying to build a brand name. We eventually built a website. We eventually built a Facebook page. We treat it like a business, and I really encourage everyone, this isn't a fad, this isn't just some kind of way to make quick money. It's a real business. Treat it that way, visualize it that way, and it will become that way.
Very cool. Now, just with what you were saying there, so you didn't do everything at once, because a lot of people feel like, I got to get all this stuff done. You bit it off one at a time. Maybe walk through that process of how you grew over the year then.
So we started off, the only thing that we wanted to have when we got going was a very basic website, and that helped us get through the restricted category. So that's something we needed. It was so simple. Anyone going out there, it's really not that difficult. Just talk to anyone here. We put it together, a really basic website. I would say about 2 months later, we upgraded the website, using someone that we had gotten off of like Fiverr, I think, or Elance, and they really helped us put together a better website. Then we finally went back and started building up our brand presence on Facebook. We had reserved the name. You just went out there and put the brand name in there, but we hadn't done any work on it. So we did it over time, chunked that out over time. There's nothing you need to do right now. I mean, if you don't have a product live yet, don't worry about getting a Facebook page. Don't worry about getting a website. Get a product going. That's the most important thing. And then all those other things, people get stressed out about them. There'll be plenty of time to do it. There's no rush to get out there and get a website or anything going, or a trademark, or any of that. You don't need it right now.
Great. So, we're running out of time here. Maybe to close things out, sort of last question, is really what are you looking forward to in the future? I mean, what are your plans for the future at this point?
That's a great question, because I think it might change at some point in time, because this business is so amazing and so fun. Let me tell you well, first of all,
Sure.
You know what I love most about this business? You guys know exactly where I'm at with the business financially. What I love most about this business are these events. I mean, this is just amazing. And the people here, it's unlike anything else. So there was a time, though, that, I really wanted to pull back and I got to focus, just put my blinders on and just focus on the business and block out everyone in my life so I can do this. And I was miserable doing that. So I think the one thing that I'm looking forward to, and the next step is, I'm going to grow my business in unimaginable ways. I mean, I just know it's going to happen like that. And then I plan on networking and staying in touch with as many people as possible doing that and helping people do that. And I think I'll be, incredibly happy seeing everyone in this room, successful like I have. There's no, you can't just enjoy your life. If you're successful, then it's no fun. You're kind of in a lonely room. I want everyone to be that way.
Right on.
I mean, you've got an amazing story. It's been a pleasure to get to know you, but to have you here as well. So hopefully everyone enjoyed it. But yeah, let's give a huge hand for Mr. Mike McClary. Slipping myself.
I don't want to forget these. Oh, no.
You gotta take it all, buddy. It's all yours.